Thank you for watching, and click the link attached in the description to get a 30% discount on transaction fees.
Videos will be going over the key levels of structure that I used in order to place trades in the EAP, which is an educational service that I run from my website at thetradingchannel.net. So far this week, the EAP is up 228 pips, and we were able to accumulate that on 3 different trades. So we'll take a look at each of those trades and discuss some of the analysis that went into them, including the major levels of structure that I was looking at in order to place those trades. And directly after that, we'll take a look at a few different currency pairs, and I'm going to point out the key levels of structure that I'm looking at in order to trade throughout the rest of this week and through next week as well. And pointing out these key levels of structure, I think, will really help you guys to understand how to tell the difference between major and minor levels of structure, and also help any of you who like to trade based on these major structure levels. As you can see on your screen, I'm also running a Christmas sale on the EAP. You can get your first month for 50% off. And I'm also running a promotion on the quarterly option, which is 3 months in the EAP. You can get that from now until December 25th for only $80. And I'm letting 50 people in at that price. So if that's something you're interested in, then click the link in the description below this video to head to the trading channel and learn a little more about the EAP. But without further ado, I'll go ahead and let the intro and disclaimer roll. Click that like button for me. Click that subscribe button if you'd like to be alerted the next time I come out with a trading education video. And I'll be right back after the intro and disclaimer to talk to you guys more about structured trading. Welcome back, traders. So today is Wednesday, and so far this week in the EAP, we've been able to accumulate 228 pips. So for the beginning of this video, I'm going to go through each of those trades and explain a little bit about the analysis that we did in order to place those trades. I'm not going to give you exact entry reasons, but I'll point out key levels of structure that were involved in those trading opportunities. And later on in the video, I will go through 5 different pairs and show you key points of structure that I'm looking at for trading opportunities for the rest of this week and on into next week as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the first email analysis that I sent out for this week. Our first analysis came out as a breakout trade here on the euro dollar. And as you can see in the analysis, I was pointing out that we had just broke below a previous level of major structure support, and directly after that created a very nice flag pattern. I was explaining to traders that I would be taking advantage of this flag pattern if it did in fact break below that bottom trend line. So let's check it out on the chart and see what happened based on this analysis we did in the EAP. Here on the euro dollar, you can see my analysis still here. We were looking at this previous level of support that held for a while right in here, that was broken below, and then we had this period of consolidation. So if we're looking at this, as I've explained it before, we have a impulse leg coming down, followed by a period of consolidation. And what do we expect after we get this period of consolidation? We expect for the trend to continue in its original direction from our initial impulsive move, which was down. So having that knowledge, and of course there were other reasons for entry based on the EAP system that I teach, but just having that knowledge, you could have placed this trade on the euro dollar. As you can see, we did in fact break below that bottom support line, and once the market pulled up a little back into this bottom support line, I decided to take my position and managed to catch about a 72 pip drop in the market before being stopped out on the second part of my position for break even. So on this trade, it was a one position winner of 63 pips. And if we take a look at the EAP equity curve, here you can see that we have the euro dollar trade on 12/19, which was Monday, with a 63 pip first target and 0 on our second target, which brought our total return in the EAP to around a 65.9% return. So for the next trade, we spotted a nice entry on the pound Aussie. So we'll take a look at that analysis in the email first. Here's the emailed analysis for the pound Aussie trade. As you can see, this emailed analysis came out on 12/19. We were looking at the pound Aussie as a shorting opportunity. And as you can see, we had pointed out a key level of structure here. And I also gave traders my entry, my stop, and my first target for this trade. So let's take a look at the pound Aussie and see how this analysis paid off. Here we are on the pound Aussie 4-hour chart. And as you can see, here's our previous structure level that's held up pretty well in the past. And we can even see some touches back here along this level as well. So a pretty significant level of structure that we were interested in and planned to get involved at this level if we got that correct entry reason based on the rules of the EAP. The market did in fact drop and give us a 72 pip win on our first target on this trade. And if we head over to the spreadsheet for the EAP, you can see the pound Aussie trade here, also on 12.19. We had a 72 pip first target with 0 on our second target, bringing us from a 65% return to a 67.5. Now back to the chart for our last trade of this week. I told you guys at the beginning of this video we had 3 trades in total for a total of 228 pips so far this week. Our third and final trade was on the pound New Zealand. And if we take a look here at the email analysis for the pound New Zealand, you can see that this analysis came out on 12/20, which was yesterday morning. And I was alerting traders of a pound New Zealand short trade. As you can see, I did a brief but detailed description of why I would plan to enter this trade, giving traders my reasons for entry, and also, as always, I did put in my entry, stop, and target levels for this trade. And if we take a look at the pound New Zealand now to see how this analysis paid off. So the market came up to a previous point of structure, as you can see here, pointed out by my arrows, and then put in an entry reason based on the EAP system, which you can learn if you decide to take advantage of that EAP promotional offer that I'm running today. And so as you can see, this trade came down to hit first targets as well for 84 pips on that first part of the position, and the second position was recently stopped out for break even. And again, if we head back over to the spreadsheet for the EAP, you can see that we have the pound New Zealand trade here with 84 pips on our first target, 0 on our second target, and that brought the account from 67% return to 69% return over the past 5 months. Taking a look at the equity curve, you can see that we've had our drawdowns throughout the beginning of the EAP, but recently, over the past 2 or 3 weeks, we've actually just been going straight up, which is unusual, and which also means that a drawdown is inevitable and eventually will come. I'm very excited about the way the EAP is performed. If you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity to get your first month for half off, then just click the link in the description below this video for the half off Christmas promotion for the EAP. And now we'll take a look at 5 different currency pairs, and I'll point out the key levels of structure that I plan to pay attention to for the rest of this week and on into next week. Alright guys, welcome back. So what I like to do whenever trying to spot significant levels of structure is start out on a higher time frame like the daily chart. And what I'll do here is zoom out my chart and try to find levels of structure that have been touched multiple times and the market has reacted to more than once. So if I'm looking at the chart, and also I go 2 levels above where price action is now and 2 levels below, and that way it keeps the chart from being just absolutely cluttered with lines from your daily significant levels of structure. So what we're going to look at now is our daily levels above where we are now. I can spot this one here. As you can see, we have multiple touches along this line, another touch here and here. And for our next level above that we have multiple touches that I see is right in here. As you can see, this market found resistance here multiple times, 1, 2, all through here and here, and also found support here a couple of different times, making this a major level. Change this to red. We'll go red for the resistance levels that we're looking for, the levels above price action that we expect to become resistance, and we will go with blue horizontal lines for our major levels of support. And already I spot my major level of support that I'm looking to get involved in the market if I get that entry reason based on my EAP rules. So here you can see we have a level that's been touched 3 different times by the market and pushed up as support. So if the market pulls back down into this level, I'll be looking for trading opportunities, and for the next level we'll be looking somewhere around this area. As you can see, multiple touches here where the market found resistance. So those are my major levels here on the dollar yen that I'll be looking for trading opportunities at. We're looking at 118.7s, 120.7s for resistance, and 116.3s, 113.9s for support. Let's move on to the euro dollar now. Here on the euro dollar, we actually have to go out to a larger time frame to find support levels because this market has recently broke through some really major support levels. But looking here on the daily chart for resistance levels first, we can see that we get a nice area here that was support. We can expect this area to become resistance. This does not always happen, but more often than not, the areas that were support and have been touched multiple times out here on this daily chart will provide somewhat of a resistance level and give you a good trading opportunity down on a lower time frame. Now for our next level that we will look for resistance at, let's change that to red, and our next level is going to be right in here. And the reason for that is because we have a touch of support here, and the market found resistance at that level here. Now these levels are very far away from where price action is now, so getting there may take some time, but those are the two resistance levels that we will be looking for here on the euro dollar. Now in order to find some support levels, I'm actually going to have to zoom out to the weekly chart. Now here on the weekly, I'm seeing a level way back here between 1998 and 2003 that looks pretty significant. We're looking at this level here as our next support level. Put this as blue, and the reason is because we have 1-2 touches here on the daily chart, and we also are looking at this level here because of these multiple touches that we see on the daily chart. Again, these levels pretty far away from where price action is now, so we may take some time before we actually get some trading opportunities here on the euro dollar, but those are the levels that I'll be looking at for trading opportunities. So for resistance, we have 1.053s and 1.075s. For support, we have 1.015s and 0.959s. Moving on to the pound dollar now. Here on the daily chart, we're actually at a point of support that I'd like to pay attention to and see what happens down on our lower time frames. As you can see, we have this support level that's been tested multiple times here on the daily chart. Once as resistance here, 2 different times as support here. And we also have that next low, that next support level tested a couple of times here that we'll be looking at for support. Now as for resistance, the 2 levels that I see and think of as significant are this highest level here, and the level directly above that would be right in here. And when I'm placing these lines, guys, I always go by the bodies of the candles, which to me are of more significance than the wicks. Now that being said, I don't have to get exactly to these lines. This is more of a zone that I'm looking at being support and resistance. So for the pound dollar, our 2 levels of resistance are 1.273s and 1.289s. Our 2 levels of support that I'm going to be looking for trading opportunities are where we are now, which is 1.232s and 1.213s. So let's move on to our next pair, which is going to be the dollar Swiss, and zoom the chart out to see if we can find some resistance levels. For resistance, we are sitting right at a previous resistance level, and I know that this resistance level has not been touched multiple times, but guys, this is one of the higher resistance levels. As you can see, it's the highest high that I can see even when I zoom the chart out all the way back to 2012. So with that being the case, that is going to be a significant level for me. And if I zoom the chart out a little more, the next level I see that has some significance will be right in there. As you can see, this level tested multiple times as support throughout the past here, 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 and resistance a few times here. So that being the case, that will be my next major level of resistance, and we are pretty far away from that level at this point. Now as for support levels, we have a few different major levels here. The first one being right here. I would like to see the market pull back to this initial level of resistance that we had. I see that as a significant level, and also the more obvious level right in here that's been touched multiple times as resistance, although that level is pretty far away. So for our resistance levels on the dollar Swiss, we're looking at where the market is now for trading opportunities at 1.029s, and also above that at 1.058s. We're looking at the support levels being 1.016s and 0.995s if the market does decide to come down from this present resistance level that we are at. And for the last pair today, let's take a look at the Aussie dollar. Here on the daily chart of the Aussie dollar, I'm going to go ahead and point out my support level. As you can see, one of the lower lows here that I see as a significant level of support, and the next level will be right in here. As you can see, we zoom out a little here, the market found support here multiple times in that area, coming down and being pushed back up from that zone. So those are my 2 support zones. If the market makes it down to those zones, that's when I'll be looking for long opportunities based on the EAP rules. And for resistance, I'm looking at this very last support level that also coincides with multiple levels back here, along with this next level up, which we have multiple touches on our daily time frame. As you can see here, even showing a little resistance here. Alright, so to recap on the Aussie dollar, we have support levels looking at 0.717s and 0.700, and we have resistance levels looking at 0.732s, which we could see pretty soon if the market does come up here. To that level, I'll be looking for some type of entry reason in order to get involved in that to the downside, along with the resistance level that's above that at 0.745s. Alright guys, so that is going to do it for the major levels of structure that I'm paying attention to and for the EAP recap. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you were able to learn a little more about structure in this video. If you liked this kind of analysis, and if you'd like to learn more about my entry reasons, strategies, and receive emails from me 3 to 5 times a week pointing out trades that I plan to take, then make sure that you click the link in the description below this video to head over to the trading channel and check out that EAP program. Once you click that link, you'll be taken to a video that explains the EAP in more detail so that you understand exactly what you're getting for $20 in that first month. So if you're interested in that, make sure to click the link in the description below the video. If you've not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure to do that so that you're alerted next time I come out with free educational content like this. Click that like button for me if you enjoyed this video. I wish you all the best of luck on your future trades, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you for watching, and click the link attached in the description to get a 30% discount on transaction fees.